Hey VC, it's TC, and sitting here in my grubbies on my lunch hour from work. Wanted to throw together a quick list to answer our friend Beth over at B-Side Records and her great new community tag about story songs. Story songs have been around forever. I've got tons of them in my library, and I had a heck of a time trying to come up with just 5 that fit the list, so I'll probably do these more in the future. But I just wanted to give them a quick list. I'm like her, I'm not going to play them, but I'll leave you links for either videos or Spotify down below so you can hear all 5 songs if you haven't heard them. I'm sure you probably have, because I tried to go with songs that were, pretty well, 4 of them at least are pretty well known, I think. When I worked for DiscJockey.com in the late 80s, we had late 90s and early 2000s, we had a channel devoted to story songs. It was called Musical Melodramas. And so I found a whole bunch of them at the time. But all of these songs have been fairly big hits, either with the fans as an album track or on the chart. And I think you'll like them, and I'll just tell you a little bit about each one. First up, there is the story song, and the one story song my wife hates more than any other. It's Escape, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes from 1979. Telling the story of a gentleman who puts an ad, answers a personal ad, only to find out that the person who put the ad in the personal section turned out to be his own lady love. My wife utterly hates this song. She says both people are not very good because they're both cheating on each other. She's right, but the song was a huge hit, and it was a #1 hit, as a matter of fact, and made Rupert Holmes a bankable name in the business. He'd been a songwriter and producer for 10 years before that. Now he continues to produce and also does Broadway. It's a great little song from 1979, Escape, the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes. The next one up, I'm not sure of which album it's on, and I'm not sure what year it came out, but every time I hear this song, I will be at least tearing up, if not in outright tears, by the end of it. The song is Why, and it's from Rascal Flatts. The song is from the singer's point of view, talking to the person whose funeral he's attending that has just recently committed suicide. It is a gut-wrencher, to say the least. Asking, why would you do this? Why would you quit life in the middle of a song? It's like it will just gut you from beginning to end. It's so beautiful. And Rascal Flatts, I'm sorry to see them that they're about to break up after 20 years, are one of my favorite bands of all time. I love their music, and this song never fails to just rip my soul apart. So from Rascal Flatts, the song Why. Third up's a little story song that deserved better than it got. People know it. It was a hit on both the pop and the AC charts. But Jessie by Joshua Kadison from 1993, I believe, tells the story of a man and a woman who are in a continually adjusting relationship. They break up, they get back together, they break up, they get back together, and it's told from the singer's point of view, and Jessie is the ex-girlfriend that keeps waltzing in and out of his life. It's a beautiful song, very funny in places. Joshua Kadison never clicked as big as I thought he would. Jessie and his follow-up, Beautiful in My Eyes, were the only 2 big hits he had, but he remains a powerful songwriter behind the scenes, and he is just terrific. That whole album, Painted Desert Serenade, which this album is taken from, is filled with little mini movies that you've got to hear if you've never heard it. My number 3, Jessie by Joshua Kadison. Number 4, going back to my boys here, Hanson's debut album, 1997, Middle of Nowhere, brought us Yearbook, a very mysterious story about a kid who had disappeared from school, and people didn't want to talk about where he was, why he left, or why he's not included in the yearbook. Co-written with Desmond Child by the brothers. They never performed this live until 2009, I believe. They always refused to do it live. Now it's become one of their favorite live entries, so much so that it was included on their recent symphonic Journey album and stage show called String Theory, which is just amazing. In fact, that's the version I'll probably have linked to you below because it adds so much to the song. Taylor's gut-wrenching voice here will just have you just shattered at the way he's thinking about this person who was apparently a friend and just wants to know what happened to him, and nobody will own up. Terrific song from Hanson from 1997's Middle of Nowhere called Yearbook. And finally, my number 5, I think it was the first story song of the MTV generation, or at least one of them, and it still stands the test of time today because the writer refuses to tell everybody who really did kill Mary. The song is Hazard. It's from the album Keep Coming Back by Richard Marx from 1992. This song tells the story of a troubled young man who is in love with Mary and now is probably the chief suspect in her death since she's been found murdered. The video implies that the sheriff of the town is also quite enamored with her. The sheriff in the video played by Richard Marx's godfather, actor Robert Conrad. It's a great song, and it triggered a whole bunch of these kind of songs, including the one I just talked about. I'm pretty sure Yearbook was probably partially inspired by Hazard's success. It was a top 20 hit for Richard Marx from his third album. And he continues to write great story songs, and so Hazard is my number 5. And that's my list. I hope you like it. Beth, I hope this is great for your vinyl tag. Thank you for this tag. It's going to be a lot of fun to do. I hope you'll like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and watch all the other great channels that I watch too. There's so many of them out there. I put some of them in the notes like every time. And I hope that everyone else will participate. I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody else has to say about story songs from the past 50 or so years. I have a feeling a lot of them are coming from the 70s and 80s because that's where most of them were. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.